define janky. Here's drum music. This is where I usually go. Bam, 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 bam. With no fade. This is going to be a hard cut here. Ready? Hard cut. Boom. Hard cut out. It took us 23 seconds to get there.
The stuff underneath that would support us is no longer there.
Ball buster. Good morning, Gloucester. It's GloucesterCast 338. It is July 9th. We have...
No, it's not. It's
June
June
9th. June 9th, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for
What
correcting
do
me,
you say,
Susan.
August?
July.
July.
Jesus
We don't
Christ.
want
The
to
summer is
lose that
over
whole
July
time.
9th.
I feel like we jumped, we've talked about
From icicles to
Yeah.
Well, blackouts will do that.
blackouts. Nice skip.
No, but it's been beautiful this weekend. 3 days of gorgeousness,
drank too much
really,
bourbon.
right in a row.
Gorgeousness.
Yeah.
We want to thank Susan for bringing her King Arthur Bakery recipe coffee rolls,
They're very
which
yummy.
I heard, a little birdie told me that you swore that I wouldn't be able to eat one because I bitch
You
about
told me you didn't want not to let you eat one, not even to bring them, because you don't want to feel sleepy and heavy. Of course, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're always hungover on Sunday mornings. Let's blame the carbs.
Nice. Yes.
Right
what
to the
she
point.
said.
Right to the point.
I mean, they serve
That's what we
these-
love.
they
Hey, listen,
serve these
you gotta
at the
take
Betty
Susan.
Ford Center.
You gotta take the good. If you want the Susan that you love, that she's outspoken, you gotta take the Susan that shoves it up your ass whenever she gets a chance.
It's all true. They serve these at the Betty Ford Center, so that's not what's causing the problem.
Susan has the account, the Betty Ford Clinic account.
Yeah.
Exactly. You keep talking, you're not going to get anything from my pizza school in 2 weeks.
Oh.
Well, we're supposed to have the pizza showdown between you and Ralph. Ralph
no
and
way.
Ginger.
I don't want to compete with Ralph on pizza. I can't.
I'm going to compete. I'm going to go right down the street and buy my pizza from Surfside and take it out of the box.
Make sure
and
it's the
pretend that I made it
gluten-free
myself.
one.
The gluten-free.
We've been enjoying summer afternoons on Susan's deck.
Which is being refinished tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, so we
We're
have
out
a
of commission till
3-day
the end of the week.
hiatus. Yeah, that's no good.
Starting tomorrow. It is good because it's going to look much better.
All right, well, we got that going for us. Happy 35th anniversary to our friend Donna Artizzoni
Yes.
and Rick,
Happy anniversary.
and 25th anniversary to Felicia and Barry.
Wow.
We got that going.
Felicia still looks like she's in her 20s, too.
She's in good shape. Well,
She's in great
she's
shape.
constantly moving. She doesn't stop moving. Yesterday was a wonderful boat day with the McCarthys. I feared for my life. Only 2 or 3 times I feared for my
Where
life.
did you go? Where did you go?
We started out at his house across the way from Nichols Candy.
Right.
We went up the river to pick up Kate at the studio, which when we went by,
But she primed the pump at my house.
she
first.
primed the pump on Susan's famous deck, and when we went by and honked the horn, she flashed us.
Yeah, Susan and Kate on the deck.
I don't think so.
We were throwing beads.
One hand a tiller, the other a miller. That's how they sail.
And then so Chris was distracted, and he drove right over a huge piece of wood in the thing, chopped up pieces out of the back on the.
Yeah, but thank God that piece of wood was waterlogged because it didn't do anything
It
to
didn't
my
do any
prop.
damage to
But
Oh my God.
but once I got past the no wake sign, I opened it up, and we weren't going anywhere.
It sounded like
And
it sounded
I'm
like
like,
it was the end of the boat day.
And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I said, my prop is probably damaged. So come to find out, I raised my engine, and what pops out from under my boat is the rest of the
The log.
piece of wood.
It was probably an 8-foot piece of waterlogged,
Yeah.
what a
decking.
huge thing.
There's tons of stuff in that harbor. After that, after all the bad storms, not this spring, but the spring before, we live on a wharf and it all washes up.
Yeah.
And we had to get a dumpster, and my wonderful neighbor Ken came with his tractor and they cleaned up the whole wharf. 11.3 tons
Wow.
of logs and debris.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
they charge you by weight, for the dumpster.
So driving up the so then we went back up the Annisquam towards Lighthouse Beach. I pointed out to Chris where Matt got married.
It's a beautiful spot.
What a beautiful! Oh my God, that space is so beautiful.
That's where I'm gonna have my retirement party.
Well, you have to have the insider juice. And
I know.
Kim's the only one that has the insider juice over there.
Uh-uh.
It was like it looked like something that out of the Kennedys would live back in the 60s.
Where?
Or late 50s.
It's right on Lighthouse Beach. If you're in a boat and you're looking at Lighthouse Beach, it's the beautiful 1920s house that's up on the
A bluff
there, up on the rocky.
And you can
there.
get it for our use for parties and
No,
stuff.
it's a friend of ours home.
They don't let
It's a home.
they don't let Jewish people in or Italians in. It's only for the wasps.
Irish.
It's just for family friends. So.
And you know what that means.
For me.
Us Italians aren't getting
No.
Mayflower
in over.
descendants
if
only, right?
you knew them for a long, if you just knew them for a long time or whatever.
Well, you could-
They'd let us go. They'd let us go if we brought them lasagna and Wiener Schnitzel.
I bet if you wanted to have a party there and you offered enough money, they could do it.
That's what it all comes down to, isn't
Pretty
it?
much.
That's what it all comes down
No,
to.
really, like, you know.
No, there was it was such a beautiful and you know what, this family, the props to this family for the interior, they had not.
It hasn't been touched.
It
How did you
hasn't
get
been
inside?
touched. No, the wedding.
From the boat. Oh, from the
No,
west.
no,
From the
no,
wedding.
yeah.
It's
But
beautiful.
the
Oh, I
interior.
saw those photos. Yeah, yeah.
It's
absolutely
all
stunning.
It's all dark wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Paneling that
Yeah.
nobody's painted it or done anything
Oh,
to it. I mean, it's
just
beautiful.
gorgeous.
It has a great big kitchen with a wraparound porch and then another layer of porches up above, like sleeping porches and
Yeah.
stuff. It's really just
It's-
like a 1920. So
It's a magical spot.
So the house was built by this gentleman Windsor Gale in the 1920s, and then his son inherited it, and then the 5 kids inherited it. So, but and Judd is still around. He's the same age as my father-in-law. So they're all. We met the Gales on the beach when Liv was really little. And their granddaughter and my daughter became really good friends. But then we all found out that they'd all gone to their oldest son and my husband's older brother had all gone to private school together in Cincinnati because he worked for P&G for many. P&G has a big headquarters. Their
Wow.
headquarters is in Cincinnati, so they all went to private school together. And then, but so long.
I was so happy. That was so nice. That wedding was one of the most
The
beautiful weddings.
Shaker Heights gang sounds
I'll
like
have to
Shaker
tell
Heights.
Liv that you said that.
Shaker Heights.
Yeah.
She's having an amazing
Oh,
time
no Cincinnati.
in California.
Is it
She's
lovely?
her Netflix job. They're
Yeah,
producing a
yeah.
film for Oprah, and Oprah's on their set tonight.
Oh my God.
So, and she's like,
She's living the
she's
dream.
living the dream out there. I don't know. She's probably
She's
gonna move
living.
up.
LIV.
I am.
Space. Living the dream.
Oh, yeah. Cute.
So speaking of, so that's a house. We don't know if that house has a name. Does that house have a name?
Yeah, we gotta name
Yeah,
it
it does.
right
Oh.
away. Oh, what's it called?
Does have a name.
This is
It
gonna be a
sounds
great
like a house
segue.
like that
This is
should-
gonna be.
is
This one
entitled to
deserves
have
it
a
though.
name.
There's someone that don't deserve it. This house deserves to have a name.
Exactly.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's not Edgecliff, but I mean I can't remember what
I think
it
rule
is,
number
but-
1 is you shouldn't name your house if it's attached to another house. If it's like a multi-family
Yeah.
situation.
Right, I think
That's probably true.
That's
yeah.
a good idea.
So Susan has a thing with Mike right now. There's a little friction.
Our esteemed podcast colleague, Mike Coder.
Esteemed, really?
Yes, I hold him in the highest esteem.
Okay.
Except for this one issue.
Did he not call himself eye candy last week?
Oh, did he? I must have missed that. Oh my god.
Yep.
I think you're right. I think he did.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't think there's.
At
I
the
don't think
Perkins-
there's
at
a.
the Perkins Institute.
I don't think there's a person in my life that more women do eye rolls to, like than our esteemed colleague.
We do
Mike
plenty
Coder.
about you too, Joe.
Oh yeah, well
Behind your
well
back.
deserved. Well
Why, I
deserved.
think Mike is funny. He was.
Oh, I love
He is
Mike.
funny. He's self-deprecating, and he does it in a
He's got this
self-deprecating
one
way.
issue though that I was like,
She can't get past this.
I was astonished when I heard what he did.
He
He
named
named
his.
his house.
Do you know what his
He said,
house's
"Susan,
name? Do you know this?
I'd like to entertain you sometime up at Rosecliff. And I'm thinking, oh, is that like by the Crane Estate? Or maybe one of these, maybe one of these historic New England places I missed. I said,
Right, 'cause there
where
was
the
a-
hell is
There
Rosecliff?
was a rose cliff.
They said, oh, it's my condo.
My Section 8 condo.
My condo overlooking Shaw's parking lot. In
I
East
see you
Gloucester.
mean your house
On Eastern Avenue.
and the Walgreens.
How about those Bruins tonight?
I said, why did you call it Rose Cliff? Oh, because I like to grow roses. And it's on a cliff. I'm like, okay. I said, Mike, I got to tell you, I think it's highly pretentious for anyone in this day and age to name their house. I know only one other person who lives in this little brick ranch in Atlanta that's nothing special, and he calls his place High Grove. It's not high, and there's no grove. So we all got to, and we gave him a lot of crap about it.
In fairness to Mike, and we like to have fun with everybody. Listen, no one here
Nobody's immune.
is immune to getting their balls busted. In fairness to Mike, he never just calls it Rosecliff. He calls it #Rosecliff because it is sort of an inside joke. Like, you know, he calls it Rosecliff. He does have a wonderful landscaping job.
Oh, it's a beautiful place,
hardscape job, and he does himself take care of a long row of rose bushes.
And he has a great view. It's a lovely place, but to name your house. So my son, who is, you know, has like just a lively imagination and wit, you know, starts making up all these, you know, coming up with all these ideas. So then Mike was at our house, and he left his phone charger plugged into one of our outlets, and my son found it, and he texts Mike, "We've got your phone charger." And Mike says, "Oh, I'm coming to get it." And Asher says, "No, send your manservant down from Rosecliff. And we will dispatch it to you post haste."
Right?
So we decided maybe we should really, Mike's not coming today, he just texted me.
Okay.
We came up with the idea of maybe everyone should name their house. Maybe Mike's got a point. So I found a website called name-generator, name-generator.org.uk.
It's called what is it? I just got it.
name-generator.org.uk. .uk, like not the University
Not forward
of
slash
Kentucky.
UK.
We're
Dot
talking
UK?
England here.
.org.uk or slash
.org.uk. You
Okay.
can look.
Okay.
I know what I'm going to name my house.
What are you going to name it?
I'm going to name it Villa Kula.
I love that. I love
Do you know
that.
what that's from? It's from Pippi Longstocking and the ramshackle falling down front porch with the horse that lived on the front.
Asher and I
That's
came
kinda
up with a
like
name
that.
for Mike's house that we thought might be more fitting than Rose Cliffs. There aren't even any blooms on the bushes yet. Villa Viagra.
Nice.
A fitting
I'm just
moniker.
going to refrain because I don't.
Okay, so when you go on this, a lot of English people name their houses, you know. And in Gloucester, I think they used to, because my neighbors have an old house, and they went back in the property records and saw that their house had a name at one time. And they did it instead of street numbers, because they were still developing these settlements, and you'd number all the houses, you know, like 1 to 10, and they build in between.
Oh.
So then you got to renumber all the houses, and I believe that's in England when they started naming them. But on this website, you put in whether it's like a small house, large house, is it urban, rural, 2 things you can see from the house. What color is the house? You fill out an entire questionnaire, and they come up with about 20 suggestions.
Oh my
of
goodness.
names for your house.
So
I'm
whose house?
thinking if you need to go to a name generator, you shouldn't be naming your house.
Some people can't
It
do
should
anything.
just come, like you have
No.
one already that just comes to you.
Yeah, you don't understand, especially with younger people, millennials. They can't
Wait.
do anything unless they do it online.
Unless
That's
they
true.
consult that. Unless
They have to consult the internet.
So are we going to do my house right now? We're going to
You
plug
want
it
to?
on? Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
see how fast your
I-
Wi-Fi is.
Ask me the
did.
questions.
I did, and the recommended name was Love Shack.
It was
not.
You are
Oh
lying.
yeah.
All right. What was this?
Did they ask for? Was one of the questions penis size?
I'm not going to do
Okay,
this.
go ahead,
Y'all
go
are
ahead.
gonna
I'm sorry.
just
This is
generate into that again. Do you know what your property was used for before it was a personal residence?
Brothel.
So it was a
Has
personal.
it always been residential property?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me 2 things you can see from the house.
A bog.
Bog. That'll be a romantic name, I can tell already.
Pond. You can say pond. You can say
I like
pond.
Bog, pond.
And you can see bushes.
Shrubbery. How about shrubbery? It's a little more elegant.
Shrubbery. Crows. You can see crows. A lot of crows.
What color is the house?
Gray.
I don't know if I have to spell it with an A or an E because these people are English. What's the weather like? An adjective. They have to give you examples. Windy, sunny.
Great Bogaport.
Sunny.
Your house is not sunny most often.
Well, I'd say they put solar on the house because it was sunny. So.
Okay, we'll say sunny,
Oh, good point.
even though it's not true. 2 plants that are found near the house.
Kim, go ahead.
Poison
Well,
ivy.
you have some beautiful
Kudzu.
You have hydrangeas.
Hydrangea.
Right? You have hydrangeas and I
Weed.
think what else?
Weed,
what else?
marijuana.
HYDRANGEA, right?
I think
Yeah,
I saw some
yeah.
big bunches of nepeta
Marijuana.
or catmint or maybe
What
it
is
was
it?
lavender. Just say it was lavender.
Oh, we have seagrass. Seagrass.
Seagrass.
I can't wait for this name.
You
Yeah,
can
this
make
is
rugs
gonna
out of that seagrass.
be- It might.
Tell me an animal that might be spotted in or near the house.
Bunnies. Tons
Rabbits.
of bunnies.
How about rabbits?
Okay, rabbits.
I don't know if they call them bunnies in England.
We found baby bunnies over the weekend, but
Yeah.
no.
I'm going to
You
put in
just-
your street name, but I'm not going to say
Scrape
it.
the
You
dirt
can say it.
and
Don't,
those
Harriet.
on that.
Just
Harriet.
say it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Harriet!
1 T or 2 T's?
2.
2 T's. And the village. You can tell this is English.
Gloucestershire.
No.
East Gloucester.
Winterfell.
East Gloucester. Village will be East Gloucester, right?
All right.
Oh, the back shore. No, the back shore.
That's short.
Well, they're gonna have an app for this.
Hashtag backshore living. That's
Write me some house names. Let's see how fast this internet. All right, you want to hear them?
yeah.
Seagrass End,
Yeah.
Grey House, Hydrangea Lands,
Ew.
Terrible.
Pond View,
Terrible.
the hydrangeas. Well, we didn't give them much to work with.
That's
Well,
Sunny End,
true. No.
Pondways,
No.
Harriet House,
No.
Gloucester Lodge,
No.
Pondside,
No.
Shrubbery Side, Rabbit's House, and Shrubbery View.
those are awful.
Ooh.
They're all terrible.
There's no winner there.
No winners.
There's no winner.
I think your house should remain nameless. As should almost every house.
Yes.
That just
That's
proves.
that proves.
This is proof.
This is proof right there.
This is proof right there.
Exactly.
Susan just absolutely proved her point, but beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Your
Honest.
Honor, I rest my case.
There's only one other Rosecliff, and that's one of the mansions when you go on the mansion tours in
Newport.
Rhode
That's where
Island.
my daughter had her senior dance in college.
Wow.
It was also they filmed the original Great Gatsby movie there, the one with Robert Redford
Oh.
and Mia Farrow.
At Rosecliff?
Rosecliff.
Yeah.
We went to at the end of the boat ride, we went to Mile Marker, and we had dinner there, and it was not as packed as we had noticed in the past.
Okay,
Was
especially
it good?
on Saturday night.
Yeah, I almost stopped
What'd
there
you have?
yesterday, and I thought it was going to be way too
But
crowded.
she saw your car
Well, it's
and
still,
kept
it's
going.
still June. You know what I mean? It's
No, well, they
still-
said that they don't want it to be a shit. Remember that we got that
Oh,
press
yeah,
release that they
that's
didn't
right.
want it to be a shit show, so they kind of backing away from all the.
And they have people out. They have valet parking.
Ooh,
valet parking.
This must be the only
They
place
had
in
a
Gloucester that
acoustic.
has it.
They had the woman singing, and she was excellent.
Yeah.
So that was good. Tano. I have to read to you what Tano is doing now because
Yeah.
I think this is a game changer. Hold on.
Yes, everything is a game changer.
Cape Ann Eats. No, this is like you could put this into your regular rotation based on what they're doing. Join us at Tano, Gloucester. $1 oysters,
Barbards.
$2 appetizers, and $5 rigatoni daily from 4 to 5:30 p.m. and Sunday to Thursday 8 to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday from 9 to 10 p.m.
That's basically an early bird, late bird special.
Special.
100%.
Like Florida.
But good stuff. I mean, $1 oysters, $2 appetizers at Tano.
$5 rigatoni.
They
$5
learned that
rigatoni.
from
That'll go on
the
the chart.
villages.
What? That's amazing.
That's a game changer right there. That's
Well
a game
done.
changer.
Nice.
We're going this week.
There you go. There you
Yeah, have
go.
they caught any bluefins yet?
I don't think so.
I'm hoping by a few more days they get one.
I had a special date with Madeline yesterday, my youngest.
Younger. There's only 2.
Well, there's
For
3.
EST,
What
you
about,
have to
what
have
about
3 or
Connor?
more.
Well, Connor's a stepson, right?
Your daughter, though.
Okay. Sorry.
Your younger daughter.
My younger daughter. So we went to
People do that all the time.
Next
Drives me
week.
crazy.
Drives you crazy.
Yeah, it does.
we had a nice day. We had
Like an
we went and
asshole.
sat on the deck
Crazy.
at Beauport, the hotel.
Nice. Oh,
What a
it's
spot.
gorgeous
Oh,
day
nice.
for that.
We are so
Yeah,
lucky
okay.
to have that place.
So what time of day did you go? You had
It was right around
For the early
1:15
bird.
because we
Yeah.
were trying to get to the boat by 2. Nice appetizer. She got the children's steak tips were a very generous portion.
Oh,
So I would check that out. And we've been going to the studio a lot and still taking it. They've still been doing, but I see that they're starting to wind down a little bit on the half offs.
yeah.
Whereas
that's
everybody says that
unfortunate.
it's everybody says it's a scam that they do it all the time.
That's
No,
right.
they do it when
when
just
it's-
because they want, just like Tono, they want people there, and as soon as they don't need, there's going to be a ton of people
Just
there.
to get people addicted.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Especially with the sushi.
Yep.
That's
Which
a
is
place
less
to go.
frequently half price than the other stuff.
But
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's no less, even though it's half off, it's no less, it's perfect.
It's great. Yeah,
Delicious.
great take. Pat, you put in a topic.
Yeah, I did.
Of the Gloucester block party dates have been announced.
Yep.
Ta-da.
So there's 3 block parties apparently: July 13th, August 10th, and August 30th. So can you look on your phone and see what type of days? Are those all Saturdays?
July 13th and August 10th are Saturdays, and August 30th is a Friday, I believe, probably because of Schooner Fest.
Oh, wow! A
Schooner
Friday
Fest.
block
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
They did that last year where they had their block party on the Schooner Fest weekend.
Right.
And it was very, I
So
think it was
Schooner
very
Fest is
successful.
every year when all those big tall ships
Yeah,
come in?
Labor Day weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
And
realize.
I was
This
Oh,
is
it's
their
So what
29th
people?
or
So if
30th.
people are listening to this right now, the best thing you could do is book a hotel room right now for Schooner
Schooner
Festival.
Fest, yeah.
Why?
Because
I live
it's
on the water.
for people that are listening,
Yeah.
not you,
Yeah.
Oh, people from out of town.
out of towns.
I got you.
You can set up tents.
But Paula Ryan O'Brien can stay with me.
Paul Ryan O'Brien.
Be like a Hooverville.
I was at
Bring your trailers.
Gloucester Stage yesterday,
Real.
and
The bread lines
Heidi
in
was
my
there
kitchen.
talking to some of her teenage interns. I hope I'm using the right term. I think she called them interns about their plans for the block parties.
Oh,
And
really?
It sounds very. It
Exciting,
sounds
yeah.
very cool.
Because they
What they're-
perform.
Who
Yeah.
They perform.
Yes.
The Gloucester Stage Company
Oh, good.
does
Yeah.
like segments
So
of
that was
current
fun.
shows, and they
Yeah.
they perform at the block parties.
When,
Yeah.
when
I
is
love
this big music festival that they moved
The-
from Newburyport to
Oh,
Gloucester?
The
yeah.
country one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it country?
been going on.
You know what? I don't know when that is.
No.
Can't nobody tell me
Me
nothing.
nothing.
That's terrible.
Oh no.
No, because that's going to be huge for Gloucester too.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
growing. That is growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's growing.
No, that it isn't.
That's
It's a
very
different
exciting.
thing. It's
Oh,
it's a
It's new. 'Cause
it's
it
a
outgrew
concert that
Newburyport.
had always been up there that they're bringing to
Oh, it's not the
Gloucester.
same one as last year.
No,
No, this
Oh.
is
I
new.
think they're looking for a bigger venue.
Yeah.
I think it's at Stage 4.
Yeah,
Park.
that's why they
we
outgrew
stole it
their
from
space
them
in
right out from
Newburyport.
underneath their nose.
Yeah.
Well, Newburyport stole from us something.
We got to
so
get those
we're-
stage
they
joints
steal.
They stole the
touting it.
I want to do a
first venue
staycation.
thing.
I want to do a
What?
staycation, get a room
Yeah.
in Gloucester, and
You were saying
and
that.
act like a total.
Oh, would that
Tourist.
be fun?
Yeah.
Would you do what weekend would you do it? Not Fiesta, because I mean, if you any other weekend but Fiesta, would you do it Schooner Fest weekend and be a tourist?
Well, that I don't know. Probably earlier in the summer.
Rooms will be
July
too
3rd,
expensive
4th.
that weekend.
Earlier in the summer, and the reason why is because the weather. I probably would want to go to the beach during the day.
You can stay in my
So you wanna do
guest
it in
room.
July.
Your guest room is lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
New carpet went in yesterday.
Well, you're
Oh.
busy over there.
Or Joe, you stay at the
So
Beaufort
many projects.
and you go to the roof deck, the pool and the bar.
Right. Right.
Forget the beach.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
Yeah.
great move.
I could live up there.
I got
every
an
day.
upstairs deck too. I have the drinks there.
Well, we haven't
You've never even
checked
been on
we
that
haven't
deck.
checked that
Oh,
one.
you have a deck above the
I have
deck?
3 decks.
Really?
That's
Is
not
it a
messing
roof
up.
deck?
Yeah.
Sawyer Free Library.
Upstairs.
Sawyer Free Library continues its June genealogy programs. This is right in Pat's wheelhouse.
This is right there. In
Pat is all about it.
What
it
is
says
that?
it has Pat's name written all over it.
So there's a program on Thursday, June 20th, 7 to 8:30 about DNA. So DNA.
That's a big one.
Deoxyribonucleic
Yeah,
acid.
that's a big one.
And then June 27th, which is, I think that's Fiesta weekend. I don't know who would go
It's
to that.
Thursday, I know.
Haze acid.
That, yeah. And then there's one coming. There were 4 June dates.
June 13th, there's one.
And I went this week to listen to Stephanie Buck, who recently retired from the Cape Ann Museum, talk about resources in the area. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. If you are researching Cape Ann genealogy and local history, you are among the luckiest people on the planet because there is so much available.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to, and you don't realize that maybe unless you try to research some other location and realize how lucky you are to be here. Doing
So Pat,
research.
here's a question for you because I know you're all about genealogy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. What my daughters, they did something where they chipped in and they paid for someone to do send your blood away and it'll tell you where your ancestors are
You
from.
probably didn't send blood, but
Cheek swab, probably.
What do you check?
saliva,
Cheek
typically.
swab. They
Really?
swab your
Yeah.
mouth.
Oh, okay.
He sent a piece of his skin. They shaved
Foreskin.
a piece of his
And
skin.
a poop sample for deworming.
No, so
Actually,
Pat,
foreskin has the most DNA of any.
I'm
other
sure
part
it
of
does,
your
but it
body.
might be mixed up DNA. That's the only problem.
It's a known fact.
We learn something new every day.
So wait, Pat, honestly, I'm asking a serious question.
Yeah, I'm
So,
That we don't
is it a
require.
scam to get money? Because a lot of this stuff is on TV telling you to do this stuff. Is it a scam or is it in fact like?
Just ask Elizabeth
No, it's
Warren.
not a scam. If you, I would recommend
Free
if you're
college.
considering having DNA testing done for purposes of genealogy, ethnicity, backgrounds, and things like that.
Oh,
Can't really speak to the health aspect,
Sorry.
but there are 2 or 3 big companies that do those tests, and I
Yep.
would stick with one of them, and I think you'll be pleased.
Do
You
you
might help solve a crime too.
They
Somebody
also
in the
have
family
medical. They
has
also have medical and health
perpetrated
related ones, and I don't know that much about those.
Yeah. Do you have I've always thought about it, but then I think I don't really want people knowing, because it goes in. I mean, it goes into a big database. It's
It
cheap.
does.
It's
Right.
cheap because it's going into
It does,
a
and
big
it's-
database that
and
they're
it's shared.
selling
Yeah.
and sharing.
Right.
Yeah.
Are these
Yeah.
tests?
Yeah.
Is this the same test that can provide you some information about the potential diseases that you may be subject to?
I think it could.
Or
I think you have to pay
But-
extra.
It would be a different kind of test, but I think it would be basically the same.
That's the one where you get the foreskin.
So that's the big question. Is I don't know how many
Alzheimer's.
people have actually
There's
done that part of the
There's
test,
an old gent out there.
They
He's
have-
upstairs.
but
He's had a test.
there could be. So again, it'd be interesting to know just how many people have opted to have this test, and why. I don't know. Why would you want to know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one
People
of
have
those.
it done for rescue dogs. They have dog DNA. You can find out what
Double-edged
kind of dog
swords.
you have.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's
My
interesting.
we got a dog from one of the shelters, and my wife actually wanted to find out what
Yeah, why
type of
not?
dog it was. But it was like $50, and I said that's the fun of getting a
mug,
dog
right.
at
Right.
It's
shelter.
like a grab bag.
Yeah.
We could pretend we know
Yeah.
what it is. I'm not paying $50.
But if you're considering it,
I'll give her the
it
money.
sounds like perhaps you are, I found it to be completely fascinating. One of the things that it does that I thought was especially fascinating on Ancestry, not sure about the other services. It based on the DNA that we sent, it projects possible migrations, where your people came from, where they went to, and why. What was happening in history.
So it kind of fills in potentials,
Yes.
like
yes.
why they may have
And
moved
for-
at this time.
That's
And-
super interesting.
And for mine, it lined right up. I mean, everything lined right up, and it made sense with what I had theorized about the time period that the ancestors came over and where they went.
So when did you? What
And where
year-
they came
when
from.
did your ancestors come over?
The mid 1800s.
Mid
So not.
1800s.
I do have some
And
Mayflowers.
what was
Potato
happening
family.
at the time when that happened?
In our
at that approximate time period, my Irish ancestors that ended up in Gloucester, there was a famine in Ireland, so the fishermen left, and most of them went to Canada and then came down to Gloucester from Canada as fishermen.
Newfoundland?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And because it was cheaper to go to Canada than it was to come to the United States. Yeah.
Here's a question for you along the same lines. Say, are there professional genealogists that will not do by DNA theoretically what happened, but actually do the record research? You could pay them to do. And where would you?
Sure.
A guy that
They
works.
hang out at like the National Archives.
Or how about that guy
For the free-
Louis Gates? Who he does that.
Yeah,
You have-
Louis
you
Gates
have-
on
That's a very
TV.
interesting show that he does.
Gloucester's home to a very famous genealogist that appears on the Genealogy Roadshow.
Oh,
I didn't know there was such a thing as a genealogy
Well,
roadshow.
it's on PBS and it's patterned after Antiques Roadshow.
he blocked PBS on
And-
his TV, I think.
And one of the genealogists on that show has a home in Gloucester.
Oh,
What's his
Wow.
name?
Mary Tedesco.
her name.
Oh, her.
Mary, I thought you said it like it was a guy, but it's a woman.
It's a woman.
It's a woman.
Mary Tedesco.
Oh, wonderful.
There's a guy that works
I'm
for
stalking you, Mary.
my company that is a professional genealogist. That's what he does in his spare
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
And he gets paid?
Yeah, he gets paid.
You can get
He lives down in
certification.
Florida.
Certifications are available.
have you seen like the ship's manifests and stuff for your
Mhm.
people?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Where'd they go to
Yeah.
Halifax?
Well, the ship's manifests that I've seen for my family are mostly Jim's Italians.
Okay.
I have some of the Irish, but I'm not 100% sure that's the right family yet.
So here's the big
Wow.
question.
They were loosey
But your
goosey
family
with their
came
names.
before his Italians.
Mm.
Because the Italians
Yes,
came after.
they did. Yeah.
So how much time and effort have you put into this project?
Oh.
Ungodly. That's
So
this
that's
is
my
number.
question. I mean, this
It's
you
my
just
hobby.
don't go online and you get all the answers.
You won't get all the right answers.
Right. So you actually have to do a deep dive and spend time.
And it's
You don't
funny
just
because
use one source either.
I've considered that how different it is now from when, especially before internet access, in terms of determining whether the source you're looking at is a valid source and telling the truth. And it used to be that I would take trips. I would make special trips to these hometowns of these places so that I could go to their libraries, go to their archives, go
The
to
newspapers.
and the newspapers. And now there isn't as much of a need of that. However, there's a lot that's not online, and if you live in, I'm telling you, I promise you, if you live in Gloucester and you are researching Gloucester local history, family history, you are so fortunate to have the records available that are available here. And Massachusetts is also
yeah.
much more open than, let's just say, New York,
Been
for
New York.
example.
It's right.
So just recently in what's that, Annisquam?
Yeah.
They're having programs in Annisquam of like basement things and like Antique Roadshow. Have you seen these posts?
No, but they're are they at the Village Hall, the Anscombe
I
Village Hall?
think so.
Yeah.
But they're having, you know who Les Bartlett
Yeah.
is, like a
Yeah.
big time historian guy.
Yeah.
And like they're finding they found all these artifacts like that they found in the
Oh,
dirt
how
or something,
cool.
and they're explaining what each thing
Oh, they're having a
is.
thing about what they found in Dogtown.
Yes.
Somewhere in Rockport, they're having
Right.
an
This is what
exhibit
kind of
of
what
it,
I
and
must.
talk.
I may be.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking
It's stuff they
That's
dug
what I'm
up in
talking about. So
Dogtown.
I said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
"What are you
Yeah.
doing?
I'm taking a coffee roll.
You're leaving?"
I'm gonna leave in a little while.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We should
'cause
just put it in a driving
I
window,
that
Joe.
one. That
Yeah,
was-
fly by. You're just taking a
Yeah.
car. Take two.
I told him to for Charlene
Oh yeah. Well, Charlene this
I'm
week.
taking my hat.
because we like
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Barefoot in the Park at Gloucester Stage is a show that's coming up. And Pat, you've been volunteering
It
there, have
already
you?
started.
Well, actually, I don't think it's officially open. They've had some preview shows.
Oh, the marquee, they said the 7th.
The preview show was yesterday, or there were preview shows yesterday. Was that the 7th or
I
was
think
that Friday?
The press
Anyway,
opening is
because
today.
yesterday was
Fabulous.
the matinee. Yesterday was pay what you wish,
Yeah.
and
How
I
much do
attend-
people usually pay for
I
them to
have
go
no.
to
I
that?
don't know.
We
I
should
don't.
ask Heidi.
I don't man the desk. I don't know.
love to
It
know.
was well attended, and the show is very sweet. I enjoyed it very much. The actors relished their roles clearly. and the audience enjoyed it. So it's a good take.
There you go.
Yeah.
So go check that out, Gloucester Stage. I have a link to GloucesterStage.com, which
Is Heidi
Pat
coming
provided with me. All I had to do is copy and paste it into my show notes, which I love. I love seeing.
Is Heidi coming to talk? Is she bringing the actors?
I don't know. She didn't come.
We
We have a problem though. We have to talk to Heidi because she comes and I love having Heidi here, but then she goes on for half an hour, and even when I try to cut her off, she keeps talking.
She keeps talking.
But
She's
what
like,
she
I
says
have
is
to have a. I'm gonna have to.
Unlike
Can someone
many
bring in a
guests,
bell?
That's true.
We need a bell.
Oh, I'm standing up for Heidi here. When I listen, when I'm in Atlanta during the winter, it's like, oh great, Heidi's on. It's going to be so interesting and fun. And then you'll have some other like nod off person here who's not interesting or fun at all.
Yeah, but Heidi's cool when she talks about the Gloucester stuff, and I even enjoy
I think
when
she's cool when she talks
when
about
she talks
everything.
about the stage company. But when she goes and she rattles off 15 different things that they're going to have there with dates and times, no one is going to remember that. All you have to say is, we're going to have this
And here's
on,
the link.
and this is the date. Or and for more information, and I provide the link to the Gloucester Stage Company. Go back there; you can buy your tickets.
She's passionate.
Okay, so instead of saying, Heidi, I think you talk too much, which I don't agree with, just say, don't say all the dates and times.
Mm-hmm.
That's much less insulting.
Okay.
Well, anyway, regardless, the show was wonderful.
I had an incident. I'm going to tell you about my incident. Want to
Okay,
hear about my
please do.
incident?
Oh, yeah.
I have some very
Show it
close.
to him, Joe. Yeah, it's bad.
What?
Your incident.
What are we going to have to say?
You got caught in your zipper.
No, not that
Oh,
incident.
not that incident.
Different incident. So we've been having the Bruins
How
game.
high is it to jump out that window?
We've been having the Bruins games at my house, and we're projecting them on the screen.
I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
we're
aware.
all aware.
And we have the guys over, and so during regular season games, I don't care if people have conversations and stuff like that during the game, but for playoffs, Super Bowls, and Stanley Cups, World Series,
Figure skating.
I want to hear.
Figure skating.
Olympics.
I want to hear the commentators. I want to hear what they have to say, and I'm watching the game.
So get some duct tape.
So hold on. So I've had this conversation with a couple of our good friends, and So I banned a couple of them. I stopped inviting them.
I got a 1 game suspension. I couldn't come for 1 game.
And concussion protocol.
I stopped inviting them, and then they said, one of them said, "I'm sorry. I understand. I'll come in. I want to watch the game with you guys. I love you guys." I'm like, "You understand that? Then that's cool. Come. I'd love to have you. I love these people. I love their company. Okay. I love their company." So then one of them. After having this conversation, they came, and they're sitting. They get the spots, the prime spots, right next to me, facing in the middle, facing the screen, and they're talking about Pinot Grigio, not facing the screen, talking about Pinot
And
fucking
aren't they
Grigio.
eating free barbecue too?
Eating free barbecue, talking about Pinot Grigio and Spin Class.
Oh, I know who it is.
Well, then I know it's not Jim.
I know both of them.
And Spin Class,
You were
and
right.
I'm trying to hear what's going on, and so I'm turning up the volume, and they're speaking louder, and I'm vibrating because I'm so angry.
I know who
So
it is.
one of them came over this morning, and I love this person, and I explained to them. I says, "Listen, I love you." I says, "But," and just how I laid it out during the regular season game, when I have conversations and laugh and joke, fine. During the Stanley Cup, if you don't want to watch the game and listen to the commentators, just watch it someplace else. The next time we have a party, love to have you over. But if you can't watch and not and have
House
the
rules.
game, then just either that or come and sit 20 feet away from me,
Right.
so you're not going to
Right.
get. Because I don't want to hear about
They
fucking
wanna be
Pinot
near the free
Grigio.
bar.
And what
Barbecue.
did they say? Did they understand?
Totally understood it, which was a huge relief for me because I've been
You've been
it's
leading-
anxiety for me to
leading up
who
and
to
down.
invite and who to
Yeah,
not to
yeah.
invite, and then
Yeah.
feeling guilty for not inviting close friends. But like selfishly, I mean, you don't know when you're going to have another Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
It could be 40 years, you know. So I really want to watch it. So I was really happy that they took it and understood what they come. And if they come, they come and do what I ask. And if they don't, That's
And
great.
that's
And I'll
tonight,
see them
right? Next game tonight.
tonight. Yeah,
What are
game
we
6.
What's this?
Craig's making pulled pork, and Chris just got a Blackstone griddle,
Yeah.
big one for
Flat top.
early fast flat top, and he's going to do sausage, peppers, and onions. So
Just bring me some.
How many?
We'll send the
manservant.
manservant.
The manservant down from Roseland.
All right, we have a Kim's Plover update.
So we have all 3 plovers. They're day 9 today, which is they're almost to their 10th day milestone. Which
Was
is
there
a good-
4 or was there 3 originally?
There was 4 originally, and we lost the second. We lost 1 on about day 2, and then
Mysteriously.
yes, but it was on a very stormy night and super dense fog. A human couldn't see.
Couldn't see Joey come and take it.
You couldn't see.
Bo. It was
Right.
Bo. I blame Bo.
No, he hasn't had all his shots. He can't be out and about.
And then, but they were there this morning. They're thriving. They're healthy. They're running around. Yesterday we had a lot of activity on the beach, and the plovers are super smart. They zoomed along the dune fencing, went down to the creek, stayed at the creek all day, and then came back. And they've done this before in the past, and we had some really nice soccer guys. Great tournament there, right next to the soccer and the volleyball tournament were right next to each other, and they tried very hard to be super respectful towards the plovers and conscious. They were very conscious, and they also have a lot of creative ideas for next year about how to share the shore with the plovers. So it was pretty positive.
It's kind of like duck, duck,
Good.
goose, but
Yeah.
plover, plover, plover.
Yeah. Good. That's good to hear.
There's that. 4 people. So, very special woman. So here's a true Gloucester person. That if you
Gloucester
grew up
patriot.
Gloucester person, 4 p.m. this Wednesday, Avis Murray tennis court dedication on Stacy Boulevard. They redid the tennis courts.
Yeah.
Avis Murray. So I'm 51 years old. When I was 10 years old, I had tennis lessons
With
from
Avis.
Avis Murray.
Oh.
Yeah.
My sister had tennis lessons with Avis Murray.
She's been there.
Thousands of Gloucester
Right, kids,
people
right.
have, and
My kids
if
did
not
too.
tens of
My
thousands,
kids did too.
have had tennis lessons from Avis Murray. She's taught at Gloucester, Manchester, countless
She's
places.
been at Bass Rocks for 40 years.
Bass Rocks for 40 years. The tennis courts at Bass Rocks, I think, it may be named. I'm not
Oh,
sure,
really?
but I think so.
Okay.
In any case, she's been inducted into Tennis Hall of Fames,
Wow.
Professional Tennis Hall of
Also
Fames.
fan.
So there's nothing more no person in the tennis world more deserving than Avis Murray. She is a absolute rock solid, steady
A treasure.
Great.
She's
treasure.
amazing.
And those courts look
Yeah,
great.
they're
They've done
Yeah.
a wonderful job down there.
Absolutely fantastic job on those courts. So congratulations for that. Monday, Pride flag raising. Monday, 3:00 at City Hall. This coming tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Mañana. I'll
So-
pick you up.
Come, you gonna come pick me up?
I'll pick you up.
I gotta work, unfortunately.
You'll be done by
But you know what's funny? I've been seeing. I was at a tennis tournament yesterday. Not tennis tournament. Sorry, soccer. My Eloise, who's going to be in 5 days, is going to be a high schooler. I can't believe that. She had her last
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
travel soccer match,
Oh.
and it was in Winthrop. And while I was there was so many people, and I've seen out and about so many people wearing flag stuff and gay pride stuff. And
Well-
one woman had she had
great.
children and stuff, and she was getting them to the game and stuff. And on her rainbow shirt it said, "I'm not gay," but there's something to the
Yeah,
effect
she's a
of "I'm not
supporter.
gay," but
That's
like,
awesome.
and she had a rainbow hat, rainbow
My
shirt.
son wore a dress to a party to be a supporter.
I think yesterday was the big parade. So
He had to
maybe
get a girl from the rugby team to lend him the dress.
So what's that now?
I think wasn't yesterday the big parade in Boston? So maybe
No,
that's
I don't know.
partly why yesterday was
I
a,
think yes.
A
was
lot
a
of
banner
people,
day, perhaps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out and about
Yeah, that's
supporting gay and not gay, which is really nice to
That
see.
is great.
Love is love, right?
Love is love is love.
Jane Fonzo has monarch eggs and caterpillars. Kim, you want to expound on that?
No, not Jane Fonzo.
Oh, Jane who?
Jane, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. You're thinking of my friend Lynn Fonzo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the-
Jane
this
Jane
one.
would be Lynn's mom.
Yeah. So Jane, who lives in Revere, she has a huge garden over there, and she has tons of monarch eggs and caterpillars. If anybody would like some, I'd be happy to go over and get some for them, or connect them with Jane, and she would love to share, and she'll have them all summer long. But this is very, very early to have them in the season. So I've got a dozen caterpillars.
So they should
at
reach
home.
out to you on the
Yes,
blog.
yes.
Leave a comment.
You
And
know what? I was going to put a post up with a picture of her garden that I took the other day and the caterpillars. So I'll probably put that post up today.
All right.
And then you want me to send you the URL to that?
Yeah, sure. And I'll put in the link.
So, but
If you send it before noon,
Okay.
then I'll put the link in the post.
Okay.
After that, I lose
Yeah,
track and
you
stuff
lose
like that.
Okay. All right. So anybody who wants to raise monarchs, I'd be happy to tell them how to do it, and give you the caterpillars and the eggs.
There you go. My daughters have a terrarium.
Yes.
Did you give them that terrarium?
I gave them that.
And they still have the terrarium all these years. And weren't they talking to you? Were they saying something this
They
morning?
said something about it this morning. They said, "Oh, we raised them in terrariums,and I wanted to say."
You should have
well,
said, yeah, there's the terrarium I gave you.
That's right.
You knucklehead. That was a long time ago. That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was
pretty cool. Straitsmith Island, recent renovation.
So Peggy Flanagan, everybody knows her. But her husband Joe, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. You probably do. Napolitano, I think it is. Napolitano. He has a fabulous construction company that restores historical buildings, and he's been involved in the Sargent House, but he was also involved in Thatcher Island restoration. And he and the crew from Thatcher Island Association under Paul St. Germain have restored the Straitsmouth Island Lighthouse Keeper's House, which hasn't had a lighthouse keeper there, I think, for 100 years or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But so they're going to be the first lighthouse keepers, Peggy and Joe. And then one thing I've always wanted to do is be a lighthouse keeper. So you can sign up to be a lighthouse keeper.
Yeah, I saw that. It was in the paper.
At either, we for years have been able to do it at Thatcher Island, and now you can do it at Straitsmouth Island too.
You have to do a lot of work.
You sign up for week-long stints. I think you have to do some good maintenance. You have to keep the property up while you're also
You have to
being
fix stuff.
You could probably fix. You could.
That roots me out.
But you could probably volunteer your services in whatever capacity.
Conversation.
Yeah. but Straitsmouth Island has, I think it has one little path that goes because a lot of people like to boat out to the island, and now they have something they've been working on for a couple of years. Now they have an actual boat ramp there. So they had to I did read that they had to had very dangerous conditions where they were unloading materials to get to do their restoration, and some of the materials had to be helicoptered in because of rough weather and stuff like that.
Very
but
exciting.
It's not a cool thing. Wouldn't you like to be? I hope they.
Well, I'd
I
have
hope
to
they,
see the job description.
I hope they do the foghorn, because they're not doing that anymore in Gloucester.
Yeah, we got a
Gloucester
couple
Lighthouse.
comments a couple of weeks ago, but people asking where the foghorn, why it had stopped.
I know.
So there's that.
I don't mind the extra sleep, honestly.
You got the fishermen have to activate it, right? The foghorns now. So
Well, I'm not sure.
yeah, I think so. So you press
Where
in
is
some
it?
code.
That's how I understood it.
Yeah.
Where is the foghorn?
Pretty sure it's on a board.
There was one on 10 Pound Island, and there is one on Eastern Point.
Oh.
They both have foghorns. They did, but they've
Can
been
hear 'em both.
deactivated.
Susan continues to be overcharged. Last week we started. When you got
Started
here,
the tirade
you were here for
last
3
week.
days. You'd been overcharged a couple of times,
4 times in a week.
4 times in a week, and
it
we
doesn't
said
stop.
everybody check out their look over your bills.
And we did.
And did you have any overcharge?
We did not.
No,
No.
nothing for you. Susan,
2 times
Twice.
this week. Once at a local, in the area, nursery, where I went to get some plants, because I like to help out small businesses. And I paid for all my plants with cash. and I had $5 and some other amount of change coming to me, and she took my $40 to $20 bills, stuck them in the drawer, and walked away and did something else. And I had to call her back and say, I think you owe me some change, which, I had to be the bad guy. And
I wonder if
like,
it's just
yeah,
coincidence or if this is a thing that's happening. I think it's coincidence.
I think it's coincidence.
Then
I'm going with coincidence.
it's more than coincidence, because I don't usually get overcharged this frequently. I came to buy some lobsters at a local establishment earlier in the week, and the lobsters ended up being around 5 pounds totally of lobster, and the proprietor of the establishment told me that would be $82 for 5 pounds of lobster. And
little Chinese math there.
I gasped, and he quickly corrected himself and lowered the amount, but he tried to get away with it.
Yeah.
Then I got home and I cooked them, and one of them had half a claw missing.
Oh.
And he sold me an amputee. My kids were little. They asked me where the cull lobsters came from, honestly. And I said, right down here in Cripple Cove. And they believed me. But he's selling me full price culls. Semi-culls.
That happens.
Yeah, it happens. Not to your friends, it doesn't.
Did you notice my Queen Hibachi from Japan?
Stunning. It's very interesting to look at.
What is that?
I saw a bunch of them when I
got
was there.
that on eBay. It is a vintage. I'm trying to find out more about it.
How many yen?
I got it. I don't know. I don't know the translation.
I do. It's about a penny.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, so $64.
If you have a $10,000 yen bill, it's about $100.
So $64,000 is.
No, you didn't pay $64,000 for that.
Yen.
I'm praying.
$64. So
$64 is 6,400 yen.
Yep. There you
About
go. 6,400 yen. Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but I was actually surprised from the photos when I bid on it. It looked like it had more rust on it than it does. That's all there is just a tiny little bit of surface rust.
I think it's a little smaller than I pictured it when you showed us the.
It's so cute.
It is perfect though. Perfect tabletop size.
Perfect for the beach.
Yeah, it could. You could use it on the beach. Wow. I'm actually going to use it. I might bring it back down to the house tonight and cook for the game tonight. And do a bunch of yakitori.
Why is it tippy?
Yakitori is delicious.
One of the legs has a little extra
nub.
Nub on it.
Huh.
You got to put spring onions on those yakitoris. You got to put scallions with the chicken.
Scallions with the chicken.
Yeah,
is that the key? So I'm going to clean it up today, though. So
it's quite beautiful.
Get it ready for our visitors from
so
Japan.
Kim, look at the grate right on the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look, that pulls out.
Oh,
see?
Wow,
See how that works?
So
you clean that. Now there's two
they
different
make
levels.
very nice toilets there too.
Yeah, cast
While
iron.
we were developing nuclear energy,
this is wood.
they were working on the grills and the toilets
The handles are wood?
in Japan.
When
While we were developing atomic energy,
Yeah.
they were working on these grills and on very fancy toilets.
Really?
Yeah.
So, well, the cast iron hibachi era where it really took off was in the 60s, right?
Well, over there it took off like.
Thousands of years ago.
But do you know it was illegal to eat meat in Japan until the Meiji Restoration in the 60s or 70s? Around 1870, they had the Meiji Restoration where they got rid of the warrior lord rulers and restored the emperor. And until that time, the Japanese people could not eat meat. They could eat fish, but it was illegal to eat meat in Japan.
I didn't know that it was illegal. Huh?
Yeah.
It was.
Well, that is super.
So whoever had it before me, obviously they used it, and the best thing you can do with this cast iron is to use it and get the grease
Well, use
on
it and oil it.
and oil it. Yeah.
Keep it seasoned.
So what I read was the best way. So this little surface rust, the best way to handle it is to get a steel wool, knock that rust off.
Yeah.
That little, it's surface rust,
The
really.
surface, right.
And then
Gently.
before you heat and wash
You
it with
gotta oil it down.
wash it with some just water,
No soap, no detergent.
no detergent. Then oil it,
Yeah.
and then get
Heat it with the oil.
get it real hot with the oil on it, and that oil will bond,
We'll
Yeah.
see it come
and
together.
and you'll be good to go.
And then how often do you have to do that?
Well, pretty much, as long as you don't leave it out in the elements, it should be.
It
Put it in a dry
should
place.
be
It should be in
and then
good shape.
But then you always have to oil it, give it a little extra oil.
Every time you use it, you oil it and heat it up.
Let's say
And then
somebody
wipe-
that I
wipe
might
off
be
the
related
excess.
by marriage to, or may not be related by marriage to, use detergent on a cast iron.
Oh, no.
Is there any recovery?
Yeah,
Just
you can bring it
I
right
think
back
I
down.
would reseason it, restart oiling
Oh, you
and
can.
heating it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm obsessed
Not
with it
talking
right now.
about you, honey.
Like, I'm obsessed with it right now, and they say that even the worst rusted out cast iron pans,
Yeah, you can say.
you can make them look
Okay.
brand new.
Okay.
Or you can just buy a new pre-seasoned one
Oh,
from Lodge on
Yeah.
Amazon or something.
They're not expensive, but these cool little, I'm
It's
obsessed.
very cool.
If
So-
you're ever driving through
That's
Central
cute.
Tennessee, you want to stop at that Lodge factory.
Oh.
Great outlet store.
I wonder if they
Dirt cheap. I do it all the time.
probably at the lodge. I bet you they have
It's hard to find.
tours of
They
the
do
actual,
not.
the
It is-
manufacturing.
No.
The
It is
manufacturing?
So, no, this is not a sophisticated place.
Really?
No.
I'm not talking about the outlet. I'm talking about the
Yeah, that's where
manufacturing.
the factory is.
Oh,
No,
okay.
there's nothing like
I
that.
get you.
That's for sissies.
Okay. So we lost Gloucester. We're going to end on this note right here about the Jim Dowd. That was probably the biggest news of the week was the passing of Jim Dowd, who had been sick for a while. But not a lot of people knew about it, except for his close friend, the Shire, East Gloucester people. Because even
East
Craig
Gloucester.
Kimberly didn't even know that he was sick. And Craig Kimberly's kind of runs in those,
Right.
those circles.
I think he was diagnosed last summer, and then there was such a nice neighborhood group that brought nightly meals over. I mean, it was a very sweet group, and they. But I don't think anybody realized that he was. I think everybody kind of had it in the back of their mind that he was going to be better, and then about a month ago, we all learned that he was in hospice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that that one to say that was such a classy tribute that you gave to him. That was really.
Yeah,
That was
when I write those, so
very, very
when
nice.
someone like
I've read
Jim
a
Dowd
bunch
is a
of
very
really nice
Jim
reviews.
Jim Dowd is an individual. I mean, there's no one. There are people like Avis Murray.
Yeah.
There's no one. There is no peer.
He's iconic.
He's iconic, right? Best writer in town, and no one's even close
Right.
as far
I
as I'm
appreciated
concerned.
his writing skills.
Me
That's
too.
Right,
what-
he had just a way, and so rather than when I write, so when he passed, I got contacted by 10 people. What are you going to do for Jim Dowd? What are you going to do for Jim Dowd? He passed. What are you going to do in the blog? And there are people that are much closer to Jim Dowd. He was an acquaintance of mine. He wasn't a close personal friend, even though he was, I recognize his brilliance. So when I'm writing it, I'm like, you have to really try to, from my perspective, when I write, everything is so personal to me. So I have to take myself out of every sentence. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure this isn't about my interactions with Jim Dowd. It's just
your
like,
objectivity.
yeah,
You did a beautiful job. You
yeah.
really did a beautiful job.
and I thought that the best way to honor him was nothing that I could really say.
Because you can't compete. Yeah.
No. I mean, I'm not even
Exactly.
a question of
that was
competing,
smart.
but just to put forth all of his contributions and interactions on the blog, and just point out Gloucester lost his most talented writer, and he was close with he touched a lot of people. So I got a lot of positive feedback about the way we handled it, and
it was just the right way.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm happy.
A
to.
rare wise decision
Yeah.
here at the
Well,
studios.
so Muffy White says, she writes a comment. Did you see what she wrote?
Yes, I did.
She was overheard in East Gloucester. That was the nicest thing that Joey Chimatao had ever done. And I'm sitting there, but I'm like, wait a second. Was that I was trying to figure out, was that a shot? I've never done it.
I know. When I first
So I
looked
wouldn't
at
look at
it,
it
how
that
is
way.
I think it was sincere.
I think it was too. And I was
wouldn't
like,
view it that way.
I know. I was kind of like, but I was thinking
Because
to myself,
I think it speaks to how much it meant to everybody, his writing, and that you recognize it.
And you went to all the trouble to do the,
It took a while. So it took a while, and I got home, and the new. So many people get the email blast at night, which at 8:00 is pretty much the deadline, and anything that goes in after that, they don't get it. Yeah, but so if if I don't press publish by 8 p.m., that the people that get the newsletter, which is about almost 10,000 people now, don't get that news until the following 8 p.m., which at that case it's old news.
And
So
it's too late to do all the fun stuff.
so I'm furiously doing this research of trying to get all of the posts in and write something cognizant and not mess it up, and like being judged on like, you know, here's Jim Dowd, that, you know, you're holding yourself to try to like not mess up my prose or my grammar or whatever.
We come here not to honor Caesar, but to praise him.
Yeah, and but I literally got that done 7:59 and probably 30 seconds is when I pressed the publish button and didn't and had only scanned over it once to see if I had made any mistakes.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, and then I look back and I'm like, I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, it was great.
So yeah, but you know, even so, I think within that within the post, which was the aggregation of all of his contributions to Good Morning Gloucester,
an anthology.
Huh?
It was an anthology.
The podcasts. So like, think about this. Like, you have children, right? And no one wants to think about. Hopefully, your children. No one loses a child, right? But if you don't record their audio, and how many parents do you not have audio? So my sister just had her 25th wedding anniversary. She went through back and got all the old videotapes and posted clips from her wedding day of all the interviews with my grandparents and my father, who's gone. And Kate never met my grandmothers. She never met my dad when he was making sense. And she got to hear his voice and his cadence and everything else. And my grandmothers, my grandma Felicia, you know, and Grandma Rose, and it's just like, oh God, like these. So Jim Dowd, you know, he's such a technological guy. He's probably has his audio recorded in other places, but I don't know if it had been recorded in such a, you know, kind of joking around way, or if it was more of just a, you know, in the sense of a technical presentation way, you know. Yeah. So
it's nice he compiled all that for his family and friends.
Yeah, and they can always, you know, that's a good part of the thing about the blog is that it never goes away. It's always categorized. If you go to the search box and type in Jim
podcast, they said that it's always there, even if you die or take a sabbatical. Your podcast is there for everyone.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think anyone could have done it real justice, but I hope what we did was okay.
Good choice.
Yeah. So there it is, GloucesterCast. What number was it again? 338. Wow. You know, before you know it,
get to 400.
Before you know it, it's going to be 350.
Yes.
Do we get a party for that? Because I missed 300. You had it at the wrong time of year.
We'll probably end up having it at our the Crow's Nest.
350 or 400?
350.
We do the 50s.
Thank God.
Why not? We always have it. Yeah, because that'll be.
Yeah,
you'll still be here.
Right. I hope so.
Right. Yeah, you'll still be here. All right, GloucesterCast 338 is in the books. Everybody have a beautiful week. I think summer's upon us. What's the official date of when does summer start officially?
Usually 21st or 2nd.
21st is the summer solstice.
It moves around a little bit.
Week and a half. Next time I talk to you, I will be the parent of a high school student.
This year.
Craziness.
Time to get ready for the SAT.
Have a good day, guys.